What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Ebb and Flow podcast. It's excellent to be with all of you again. Have a really special episode for you guys today with my brother Garrain Jones. Man, we go deep. We go very deep discussing this concept of the harmonized human. Something I've been very interested in lately is the raising, the heightening vibration, the heightening frequency of the planet, and with that, the adaptation that us humans and our consciousness is taking on right now. Growth, evolution, activating the throat chakra. What does that really look like? The process of coming into allowance of oneself. A lot of good stuff. Very rich episode. Garrain is a wealth of wisdom and knowledge. Really excited to share this episode with you guys. Before I send you off to enjoy this epic conversation, I have my group mentorship program. It's off the charts right now. We've got an incredible community that we're building. Life and Flow on School. We do weekly live group calls. You have access to exclusive content. This community is a community of people that will undoubtedly provide you with professional and personal inspiration. If you feel like you're in need of a community to raise your vibrational frequency, to tap in, this is it right here, guys. Life and Flow, join us, my group mentorship program, link in the bio for all that good stuff. Also, Heal and Flow, Lake Stevens, Washington. This is our epic 2-day wellness immersion happening August 10 and 11 in the pristine waters of Lake Stevens, Washington. An absolutely epic venue hosted by the Krenz family. Shout out to Riley and his family. Yoga, breathwork, ice tubs, all the good stuff that you love. We'll be doing guided meditation. Everything is spectacular. The food, the supplements, all world-class level. Join us for that. We've got a handful of spots available. Would love to see you there. That's Heal and Flow in Lake Stevens, Washington, August 10 and 11. Can't wait for that. Really look forward to seeing you all there. With that, enjoy this episode. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.
You have unlocked the eternal link to internal source, the key of imagination, your admission, access to the enlightened dimension. A gateway at the junction of darkness and light, the place at which the chaos of our conditioned frame of mind give way to a life in constant flux, only to be mastered through vigilant discipline. Peaceful times may come, testing times may go. This is the Ebb and Flow.
My brother.
We did it.
We did it, dude. We did it,
We're
bro.
both super busy, but we made it happen.
We made it happen, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. We just, look at this, 11/11 coming on.
You can't make that up.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna kick this off with your exercise.
A drum activation. Yeah.
Let's start with that.
I will want to ask everybody out there and yourself to one hand on your heart, left hand on your heart, right hand on the other. And we just take a deep breath in. Out your mouth. Deep breath in your nose. And out your mouth. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now, now, now. Deep breath in and out your mouth. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now, now, now. Deep breath in and out your mouth. in and out. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Whoa. Deep breath in. And in, and out, and in, and out. And open up your eyes. Something magical happens when you speak the original language of sound and vibration, and you couple it with your life force energy and intention, the presence of the collective.
Feel that, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been understanding a high degree of music for, I would say, since 2005, but it's always been in my life. But it's kind of like somebody who's a professional athlete or they do mixed martial arts. As you practice more and you beat on your craft, there's certain instincts that start to code inside of your body. I'd never stopped practicing. And the more and more I open up certain aspects of my life, it's like beating a dragon at the end of the round and you get a bigger sword. So the more and more I overcome, the more and more I'm exposed to my own spiritual gifts. And so now putting it all together, as we all have vibration inside of us. So we're like a music note. So if you can start to harmonize all of these different frequencies together and you can speak directly into the vibration of the body, now you start to just align just by way of sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel that big.
So it's been a while, but now, as of maybe 2 years ago, the practice started to go from ABCs into words into an actual formed sentences that create a language. So now I have a language for it.
I love that. Is that what we experienced as your language?
You experience your language. What I did was remind the soul of its original language. Because like biblically, they say in the beginning there was the word, but the Greek meaning for the word is sound and vibration. So I just took vibration and reminded your soul of what it already knows, and then you just got a hit of remembering. Before we use the given words.
Yes. Love that, dude. That resonates big for me. I've been doing a lot of chanting for the last few years. And what that's done for anchoring me and my voice and my soul's expression of sound. You know, like the voice as the vibration of the soul that we manifest through. It's been big in anchoring me into that and opening it up, like you said, you know, like turning the machine on, as it were, you know?
It you know, it's
and you feel it when you're doing that drum activation.
You feel it.
You feel it in your body.
You feel it beyond the world of thought. And it's just like you can't quite pinpoint it, but it makes so much sense. It's remembering the memory of the continuous self, which is just the Yep, that was the sign. That's like, y'all are onto something.
There it
Let's
is,
keep
dude.
going.
That's so funny.
Yeah, remembering the memory of the continuous self is energy is meant to be passed down, information is meant to be passed down, and you know the forever isness, I call God, that continues to use the divinity through us in our own way in which we express, that is meant to be passed down. That's why like we're domesticated in our childhood. By the way, dad shows up, mom shows up, and then all of a sudden, without us even knowing, we're just utilizing things that are passed down. And so if the memory of of remembering the continuous self, like your true magic, your true bigness, your true divinity is then start to be passed down through your kids, through an energy in your family, how you show up on podcasts and TV. Now you're playing a completely different game, vibrationally.
Yes. Yes. My next question was going to be, why is that important?
Yeah. And it's important because you think about, like, for the most part, humans were controlled by time, a man-made thing. So you just think about what happens when New Year happens. All of a sudden there's an uptick in our consciousness. They're like, oh my God, New Year's going to be my year. But you can literally resolve right now. But you wait, you leave the present moment to say, oh man, in 2025, it's going to be my year. And you literally left the present. If you left the present, you're not here. So we get controlled by that, controlled by Valentine's Day. You can shower her or him with love anytime you want, but then there's an uptick of consciousness in Thanksgiving with family, Christmas with family. So that means you're controlled by a man-made calendar, which you're domesticated by this thing called time. But in the space of the infinite, where vibration lives, your aging process is different. Your breathing process is different. And I'll get more into that. The way that you hear the unheard, see the unseen, feel the unfelt is like you are playing a completely different game. It's like a game within a game within a game.
Yes.
So now you're not being taken out by the world's suffering because you're not even playing that game. You're playing vibrationally a different game. And if you can raise your vibration higher than the typical construct, now you're creating your own game. And why that's so important is because we're literally living in a world of suffering. If you're suffering, you're a walking dead person. And the cemetery is not where you see the most dead people. It's where you encounter people with something that's died inside of them. The soul, the spirit, and their dreams, all these different things. So in a higher vibration, the way in which you process things is just completely different. And so that's valuable because we're being, I feel we're being shifted into this Earth 2.0.
Yes.
There's not going to be an Earth 2.0 without a human 2.0.
Right.
And I feel that the next variation of human, like they have iPhone 1, iPhone 2, they remove the parts, upgrade to the next variation of human is someone I call the harmonized human, one who is in harmony with nature as it was designed.
Yes.
Their throat chakra is activated, which is one of the most blocked chakras. Their energy centers are aligned and you harmonize with nature's principles. And so therefore you're not going to get crushed by the machines and all these different things because you're in collaboration with the oldest law, which is the law of nature.
Yes.
That's why it's important.
Totally, dude. Fuck. You hit it on the head, bro.
Yeah.
You hit it on the head. I think a lot of people are feeling that too and don't have the vocabulary to... Got a baby going gaga goo goo. Yeah, exactly. And you're going, man, I feel like things are getting faster. Things are turning up. I feel different. My old way of doing things isn't working anymore, but you don't really have that extra sensory understanding yet.
Right.
You know?
And the most blocked chakra is the throat chakra. And that's why statistically, it's an actual proven fact. The number one fear, even more than death, is public speaking. That's a blocked throat chakra.
Yeah, really interesting.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
totally.
a blocked throat chakra, which you don't know how to have tough conversations. You can't speak and be yourself. You're not living in your bigness because vibrationally, you don't even know how to communicate what's truly inside of there. It's like, there's a bigness, but I'm not worthy. That's all throat chakra. That's connected to everything.
Yeah.
So with that open, which is why you're like, I'm chanting, I'm chanting, I'm chanting, you're literally sending a signal to the brain that my voice is worthy of actually being heard.
Yes.
My sound, like the sacred note,
Yeah, I got chills.
is actually worthy of being heard.
Yes.
So if you look at the iPhone, and this, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, they don't go from one phone to the next and keep the same processing speed or the
Right.
camera or the buttons or the look, because why? The buyers won't be stimulated. There's many people trying to use old construct, old buttons, old camera to go into the new aspect of life. So there's something you're holding on to, the porn, the addiction, the drugs, the alcohol, the whatever. And what the power that it takes to hold on to that is the same strength that's needed to hold up to your next level.
Yeah, dude. I love it, man. I'm reading this book right now called Oneness.
Yeah.
It's a channeled text by this woman named Rasha.
Okay.
And she's channeling from source, from the source of all oneness. And it's speaking to everything that you're talking about, really. The Earth's vibrational frequency is upshifting.
Yes.
And so humans, as a result of that, we have to adapt and evolve, and because our frequency is upshifting. And so that's why we're experiencing a lot of dis-ease, and the dis-ease is holding on to the old world way of doing it. And it can be experienced or manifested as physical ailments or mental health issues or all sorts of things. All the things that we experience that we feel like, fuck, I'm so uncomfortable, or this is happening, or X, Y, or Z, or I feel like I'm just about to explode. I think that's a big part of that.
Yeah.
That throat chakra.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a bunch I wanted to share with you, and I'm gonna put it on the side for a moment because I really want to keep going down this path, because the opening of the throat chakra, or the activating of it.
The activating of it. Yeah.
The activating of it. What does that take? What is the process by which we can continue to activate and amplify the throat chakra's ability to allow our deepest, our core essence to vibrate into our atmosphere?
Well, one, you got to know where it starts. The throat chakra doesn't start in the throat. So if you're in a loud crowd and you're yelling, you're like, yo, I lost my voice. You should never, and I learned this as a singer. If you're singing from the wrong place, if you're yelling from the wrong place, that's why your voice will shut down. And it should not come from your throat. The power comes from here.
Yeah.
And so what people think is like throat chakra. No, it's actually the power comes from here.
Yes.
And it has to be in the frequency of trust. So without the trust of the power, this gets shut off. So you try to force it. I'm forcing myself to say something I don't really want to say.
Like you're trying to muscle it.
100%. You cannot muscle allowing.
Dude, right on cue.
You can't.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't. I don't care how much you try, you can't muscle the surrender frequency.
Yes.
The allowing yourself to be who you authentically are. You can't. You can try. Go in there. I don't care how tall you are, how strong you are. Go in there with a 5'5" world-class mixed martial artist and try to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu with them, and watch how much less strength that they use, and watch how much brute force that you use, and watch your ass get chopped down within 10 seconds because they understand the law of push and pull and release and surrender and being able to breathe into specific positions where you're tiring yourself out. Same thing you do with your voice.
Yeah.
And when one starts to trust your actual real power.
Mm.
Not what somebody says that you are and you believe that, not a overcompensated version of yourself, not hiding beyond whatever it is, but when you look in the mirror and the truth shows up and it's not who you really are.
Mm-hmm. Or who you perceived yourself to be.
Yeah, who you perceived yourself to be. If that is the case, you cannot live in the trust frequency because you're not trusting who you are.
Mm.
So first off, I accept who I really am in all of my ugly, in all of my beautiful, in all of my dark, and all of my light. And that gives access to trust.
Mm.
The acceptance comes first, and then the trust is birth from full self-acceptance. And then when that trust is birth, it emits a frequency. If you take like a cobra, I mean, one of those guys that plays it's
the snake charmers.
The snake charmer. It's playing a frequency, and all of a sudden, it summons the snake up. So that means we are being controlled by frequency and vibration. So if you can emit a specific frequency inside, all of a sudden you start posturing different.
Yes.
We're the most powerful magnet in the world. That's why like attracts like. It's the law of attraction, like literally because you're a magnet.
Yeah.
So if you start summoning the frequency of trust, not like the checklist, okay, I'm trusting. No, that's outside of you. It's, I am a trustful person. I trust myself fully. And when you start summoning that vibration, it starts opening your inner liberation up. Love without boundaries, love without restrictions. It starts opening up inside, and in the allowing is where all of the effortless magic swims around. It's like activating a spiritual, it's like a snow globe, and you activate that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I just randomly thought about this and this happens. That world is in a higher vibration.
Yeah. It's really powerful for you to talk about allowing, because that's been my practice.
Yeah.
For the last few years, man. Allowing myself to be however I am.
Yeah.
Coming into total radical acceptance of myself. The dark,
100%.
the powerful, the ugly, the stuff I don't like, the shame, the guilt, the sadness, the happy, the joy, all of it, just like coming into that allowance. So it's really powerful for you to talk about how the throat chakra begins in the trust and the allowance of your own inner power, your own inner self.
Yeah.
And that's been a long journey getting there. It's been a long journey. And I know you can relate because I know,
sure.
For someone who's maybe on the edge, but somehow they're still locked in that three-dimensional old way of being.
Yeah.
What are some exercises or practices or simple thought paradigms that you can work on, work through, work with to start cultivating that allowance? Because for me, there's nothing more powerful or liberating than that. Like you were saying, that allows for the true liberation of yourself, that allowance. And I think that can be hard to grasp for somebody
for sure
who's just locked in building the career or making the money or doing the external stuff, I know because I've been there, we've been there,
I have a perfect exercise for that.
Yeah, please.
All right. So we'll watch a movie and like say for instance, Avengers. And then
why did I think you were going to say that?
Because I'm a Avengers of consciousness, baby. We're the Avengers.
I love it, dude. I love that.
Say for instance, we're watching the Avengers, but then people wait at the end of the credits, because they know that there's like a outtake or there's like a alternate take.
Yeah, or like a lead into the next film or
Right,
something.
right. To go into an alternate reality. So we live to look at different alternate realities. You can create an alternate reality of your life. Because if I were to ask you right now, what do you see?
I see a drum.
Okay. You see a drum, but you didn't say you see my glasses. You didn't say you see me. You didn't say you see the wall. So you can actually look in the same direction and see many different ways, which is an alternate reality.
Yes, yes.
So because you and I are most likely, you're from America, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been taught to see life linearly. But there's so many different parallels and dimensions in the spiritual realm, the astrofield. There's so many different.
Yeah.
So the best way I can describe this, let's say, for instance, like Doctor Strange, there was an alternate reality.
Right, right.
So what the practical thing is, what I would say is somebody's like super struggling and you don't see another way out. Create a movie for your life and create an alternate reality. So I want you to see it. You're writing, I feel like shit. I'm so fucking angry. I'm all these other things. Write all of that. Now, what I want you to do when you're done writing this letter to yourself about how angry you are, allowing yourself to feel all these emotions, switch to your non-dominant hand, which activates a different part of your brain that most likely is unused. It's going to look like little kid writing. And I want you to write the alternate reality as if everything that you were complaining about, angry about, sad about, mad about was coming from a positive narrative, and write it with your with your non-dominant hand. It's going to, because you're using more of your brain just by using your non-dominant hand and you're writing something, you're going to plant a seed in your future. So you're going to write that letter. So you're like, oh, I hate my life. Boom. I absolutely love my life. And you write that whole letter down in this alternate reality and then read it.
Wow, dude.
And as you read it, something's going to start coding in your body, because we live life by the stories that we tell ourselves, not by what happened. By something happened, you told yourself a story, and now that story is no different than an open app on your phone. It's not going to close until you release it. So what you're going to do is create an alternate reality, allow yourself to see it visibly, and then read it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to burn the one that you originally wrote in the lower vibration. And I want you to mail this one to yourself. And I want you to open it up a week, 2 weeks from now. And I want you to be able to monitor and remember every single out of the ordinary thing that happened from the time you wrote that letter to the time you read that letter. That is you playing in infinite possibilities rather than living as a recreation of your past.
Oh, dude, that's a good one, man. I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'm going to have to do it just for fun. That's amazing, dude. I love that. I love that. So powerful, dude. Well, the thing I wanted to share, and I think it's right on in alignment with this conversation, is I just went to Italy, just got back. Have you been?
No, but the last 3 people I've connected with,
Have
something about the lady
Italy?
that's staying at our house is Italy, and it's I connected with on Instagram Live. She's like, Italy. I'm like, that's 3 times in a row.
You might want to go check it out.
Yeah, I think
bro.
Italy might be calling.
I think you'll love it. You'll love it. The thing that really struck me by the time I got to my hotel room in Rome, was that no one in Italy, the culture is so about the moment, the here and now. And no one there is looking to be somewhere else or be someone else or be something else. They're just totally immersed in family, food, passion, love, joy, laughter, connection. It's what the culture is built on. And it blew my mind because, as a young, probably typical American boy, I spent so much of my time thinking about how I got to be different, or I got to be better, or I got to be stronger, I got to be leaner, I got to be X, I got to be Y, I got to be Z, and nobody's thinking like that there. They're just living. Like life is the ceremony. And it's just this life practice of allowance, acceptance, love, and joy, and moment, being in the moment, presence, and it's in the air there. Like it's in the atmosphere. And it feels like a powerful and important thing for me also in this evolution I've been going through for about the last year and a half, 2 years of slowing down, becoming much more intentional and conscious of how I'm spending my time. I mean, I lived in LA have you ever lived in LA?
For 21 years?
Yeah, I thought so, dude.
I get you.
And the driving around and the hustle, and I got to go there. I got to meet with this person. I got an audition. I got this. I'm doing that, constantly moving to come to this place where I'm living out in the country in Wimberley, in the hill country. I'm just living out in the country.
That's where my retreat's going to be in like a week and a half.
I love that, dude. Well, I'd love to come check it out. So, it's a special place. But just my whole life shifting into this mode of slowness, of living through being rather than living through doing.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. And, I think that I felt like you had probably been to Italy just given who you are and how where your consciousness is at.
Yeah.
But you're already in that vibe,
I'm excited to go now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think you'll really love it, especially out in the country. Rome is like something I've never experienced before, even growing up in New York City, dude. I mean, I was born in New York City, dropped in New York City, lived in Brooklyn till I was 10. Then my mom moved my brother and I to LA. But Rome is like a whole other level from New York City, even energy-wise, which blew my mind. People eating dinner at 9 o'clock at night, life is just blowing up late at night, people eating, people just living, late at night. People are outside, the windows are all open, sitting on the balcony, having a glass of wine, smoking a cigarette, not things that I really enjoy, but living, So I'm curious to hear your thoughts and perspective on the slowing down, on the living through being rather than the living through doing in the realm of activating your insides,
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. The interesting thing is how I came to that state. How I came to that state is I turned a special needs into a superpower. So when I was younger, they told me that I had a speech impediment. I was diagnosed with delayed learning. So what would normally take you 6 days to learn would take me 6 months to learn. And, I was in special education classes for reading, and it was a very slow process for me. And for a long time, I thought I was stupid. And I was made to feel stupid. And people that would speak so eloquently, it's so interesting. I've spoken to more than 500,000 people over 98 countries in public speaking. But I used to be deathly afraid of speaking because of my impediment. I used to thought I did.
Wow.
And so,
wow.
Yeah. And so what I thought was stupid and what I thought was slow as I started to develop my consciousness and get into personal development, and I would notice that people that were moving really fast always had to come back and course correct and come back and course correct. And I was noticing that I never had to come back and course correct. And then I learned about this word called efficient. And then in the efficiency, I started to learn that people who focus on efficiency actually increase their productivity 95% more than people who don't have that as a value. And I was wondering why everything that I've ever created since I was a little kid, even if I was the kind of trying, it just always turned into this like pattern of success. Actually, that's a pretty freaking good title. Pattern of success. Somebody remind me that.
Pattern of success,
yeah.
dude.
It turned into this pattern of success, but one of the highest priorities was how efficient can I be in this process of learning, in the process of being a student, in the process of leading? How efficient can I be in my communication? Am I speeding up? Because every time I would speed up, I would miss something. But every time I was in the frequency of efficiency, even in the slow process, they're like, man, how'd you get so far? And I was never, how'd you get so far so fast? I was never focused on far, and I was never focused on fast. I was just being efficient. And I never would get tired. I would never get break down. I never got overwhelmed. The only time I ever got overwhelmed is when I was trying to punch above my weight class, or if I was trying to go beyond what my body could actually handle. Yeah. You try to drive a car beyond what the body can handle, you're going to experience something in the engine. Same process.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I got more educated in being able to articulate my process, even right now, when something is new, it's a much slower process. And everybody's like, boom. It's like the kid who finished the test really fast. Mine is, it's still the same slow, but I don't call it stupid anymore. It's my way of being. So inside of the being, I do. So I don't do to increase the being. I am being, and through the being comes the doing, and then all of a sudden the world, this plastic universe, starts matching who I'm being.
Yes.
Life's not happening to you, it's responding to you.
Fuck, dude. Really, I love that. Life's not happening to you, it's responding to you. It's a powerful shift.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
It's a powerful shift in a world that is trained to do. It's like, I'm overwhelmed. I need to take a break. Got all these people committing suicide. And then I was like, you get all this dis-ease in the body and everything because you're driving the body in the wrong direction. Climbing up the wrong tree, swimming against crashing waves, wondering why flow is not happening.
Yeah.
That speeds up the nature's aging process for you.
Yes.
So I didn't find the fountain of youth. I discovered the fountain of you.
Love that, dude.
And it doesn't operate off of man-made time. It is nature's being. And so anybody that plugs into nature benefits from nature's resources. Nature is durable. It's resilient. It always duplicates itself. You burn it down, the trees grow back even greener. And so inside of, and this is the whole thing about the harmonized human that I was talking about. All of these are principles that nature literally in its being shows and shares with us every single day. I just decided to look. I'm like, well, damn, I'd rather you be my teacher.
Love that, dude. Love that. I love that, taking the thing that you grew up thinking was a weakness or a defect and it becoming your superpower.
Superpower.
That's an amazing thing. Yeah, that's an amazing thing.
And the last thing I want to add to that, anybody who's a trained fighter, I did martial arts for 15 years, studied to be a samurai for 2 years.
Wow.
To an average person, if I even go like this, your whole body, because you're not even trained in those instincts.
Uh-huh.
You're a professional footballer, so you could see the hips, you could see everything before it happens because you had the instincts trained in your body.
Mm.
So what most people think is fast, when you are living an efficient life, it actually slows life down to the rate of your efficiency. So this now becomes doof, doof, doof. Everything slows down. And this is what I mean by playing a game within a game within a game. As long as you're vibrationally set in your body and you're efficient with your energy, with your food, with your time, with your thoughts, with what you're listening to, this is efficient and it's like fully aligned. Now, all of this, it doesn't get to you because you're not even playing that game.
Yeah. Yeah. How important would you say the training is in cultivating that?
I mean, the same way that you learned how to say your name. The same way you learn how to walk. Baby will get up and fall down 72,000 times. Right. But then all of a sudden, an unnatural state, which is walking, we were born in the fetal position, now becomes something that we adapt into. So when you're wanting to adapt into a state that you've never been or that you can't consciously remember, it's going to take continuous reps.
Yeah.
And anybody that makes something look easy have put in 10,000 more hours or reps. And it is so important because there's too many people living life by talent and not skill. And skill is way different than talent. Now, an untalented person that has developed skill will go 10 times further than a talented person who's just relying on the talent. Now, if you're talented and you develop the skill, now that separate, you're not even playing in the same dimension as people.
What does it take? What will it take to become that harmonized human being?
Well, first, awareness. Yeah, you can't change what you're not aware of. You know, before I knew what 1 + 1 was, I didn't know math. You know, people would be like, "Oh, that's not me. That's not me." But yeah, but all the stuff that you've learned is what made you you. So if you continuously keep learning, then what you think is you, energy and emotion is going to continue to evolve because the essence of life is growth. The trees are like, I don't feel like growing today. I don't want to grow no apples. But they send their limbs. Like Jim Rohn had this thing where he was like, man, humans are the only life forms that chooses not to grow. But the trees, they send their limbs down as far as possible.
Why do we do that, dude?
I don't, because we've been given the dignity of choice.
Oh.
But the tree will literally grow to its max. Oh man, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get around to it. I've been meaning to write this book and everything. So we've been given the dignity of choice. And so we choose out of our own life. And so to come back to your question.
Yeah.
Because of that choice, when you start choosing into your life and you start wanting to live as your fullest expression, your approach to the way that you think, the way that you speak, what you're eating, it should match. If everything starts matching, then you start being aligned with that which you say, that which you call yourself. But if you do not have the awareness that you can actually evolve more, then you won't do it. So the awareness comes first, and then understanding the value of why to evolve. And then once somebody understands the value, there's a lot of stuff that you don't have to learn. You know the value of, oh, you know, I'm not a nighttime person. All of a sudden you get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning that your daughter is in a burning building. All of a sudden, all those constructs go out of the window because you see the value of doing whatever it takes.
Mm.
And it's not even about, oh, I called and I ran and something else takes over.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do things because they don't know the value of it.
Mm.
So if you learn the value of living, or at least working towards a fully optimized life and continuously evolving, continuously growing, now all you're doing is telling the nature part of human nature, the nature part of you, that my life it gets to evolve as I evolve. So there should not be a separation in your family, in the money, in your sex, in the way that you feel about yourself. And this is where the overcompensation happens.
Yes.
I can have a 2-minute conversation with, I don't care if you're a billionaire or anything. I can tell you if you're not living right harmoniously because something else is taking a hit. All ships should ride with the tides if you're fully aligned.
Do you feel that hitting rock bottom or pain is usually or is necessary for that?
For hard-headed people.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly was for me.
Yeah, me. I was hard-headed.
Yeah.
I was stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
So I didn't come from a family that could teach me conscious lessons. Like my daughter right now, 2.5, she's not going to have to struggle.
I love when you post you and her.
Right?
It's so beautiful, dude.
She's 2.5. She's not going to have to struggle like I did. So I've got to create a simulation of earning. You got to work hard if you want these gummies. You got to work hard. Like we know that, so we've got to substitute.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it suffering, but learning how to cultivate growth and then that be rewarded with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
a challenge.
Yeah, it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
Just living in a conscious household.
Yeah.
I find ways, like I'm not going to have to go to prison for 2.5 years again, but I know the feeling that I felt. So now me running 64 miles over a mountain and then thinking about this is my prison because I've never been a long distance runner in my life. I was a 400-meter hurdler. So I'm like, okay, so I know how to create the same way that I felt inside of my body. And then now creating a way to get out of that and then find gratitude in that. And so this is what we're teaching our daughter at 2.5. And I'm watching her. So I can't do it. 2.5. I was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. She's going, Daddy, help me. Baby, you've got this. And then all of a sudden she kicks in another gear. And all of a sudden she's able to do the 2.5.
That's amazing.
We're not speaking to the 2.5, it's a soul on soul connection.
Yeah.
And then she's rising above the construct of baby. And so I think it's important that someone experiences tests and challenges so that you can learn what it takes to grow to the next level without having it easily given to you, because you're going to pay the price for that.
Yeah. Yep. It's powerful, dude. It's powerful. How long have you been, or, well, I guess you said for a long time, 2005, the sound and vibration. How long has this been something you're like really intentionally?
I would say about a year as far as intention, but I've been using it. I just didn't know the effect of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know the effect of it until, I'm doing my retreats, and then I'll do this sound activation, this throat activation. People, they're like, man, my favorite part was, and it just kept coming back. I'm like, wow, I mean, people really like this thing. And here I am just,
intuitively,
crowd of people sharing this stuff. They're like, man, but it was something released inside of my body. So I started studying. What is that? Why is that your face? So anytime somebody's like, yo, you changed my life. And first off, I said, no, you changed your own life. I'm just reminding you of what your soul already knows, but what specifically did I do? And so when I ask that, it's because I'm trying to get data.
Yeah.
Because you might say something I didn't even know that I was doing.
Right.
Once you start getting a lot of feed, I call it feed forward from people about something that you're doing.
I like that shit.
Study it.
Yeah.
Get really good at it. Learn the science. Back it up. And then like really that becomes the new lane that I'm professional in.
Yeah. I love that. Feed forward.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
It moves the conversation forward.
Yeah. As teachers, it's important to
Yeah.
get that feed forward. I love that. I have called it feedback, but I'm going to start using feed forward.
It feels different in the body
It does.
when you say it.
Yeah, it does. Like we're growing, we're expanding.
Yeah.
We're going to a new place. What in your, someone who's in that, on the edge of that breakthrough, someone who's on the edge of that breakthrough, they've been through the dark time.
Yeah.
They've got hope, they've got faith.
Yeah.
They've found some trust. What would you say are the most important things they can do and or think about, feel into to get them to that next plane?
Find you a positive, uplifting community, whether it's online or offline, to be around people who are living in the direction that you want to live. Yeah. I have a saying that says, flowers that grow together grow much faster together than they do by themselves. So if you can find that community is another form to say coherent language. So if, if somebody wants to learn French, you can, tap at Rosetta Stone for 15 minutes every 2 weeks at like Starbucks, or you can go to France.
Yeah.
And you can be amongst the energy, eat the foods. The way in which your dialect is going to be totally different than if you're just tapping at it. So find a group to immerse yourself in, find ways to add value, and then now it becomes this coherent frequency where everybody's adding value to everybody's everything. And in that, and I want to make note, positive, uplifting. If you find yourself gossiping and that's black magic, stay far away from that community, because it's like throwing pesticides on your future. Positive, uplifting community, there's paid and there's free. I will tell you this, some of the highest frequency communities for business people often pay higher. Billionaire friend taught me, wealthy people invest in higher frequencies in community, and broke people spend money on things. And so instead of buying the watch, and there's nothing wrong with buying the watch and whatever, I started investing my money into being in higher vibrations, because the thoughts were different. The thoughts inside of me were different. The people that I could connect with. And now I'm coaching one-on-one coaching some of the most powerful minds in the country that sought me out because of rooms that I was in. And every time I would say something, it would be like,
who's that guy?
And, but I paid into a frequency, and now I get to harness the frequency that I was around the most. Of course, it's my own, but when you're in that shared environment, if you have a flower that's this big, it's the same species of flower, and these other flowers are this big, this flower would eventually catch up to these flowers just by way of energy. You speak the language, you share the energy, the vibration, but also what comes up inside of you in the right combination of people is part of the groupthink. Yeah.
I love that answer, man. That's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing when you come into a community of people who change your patterns. They like uplift your patterns, your thoughts, your feelings, how you're looking at things. It's a powerful thing. I love that, dude. what are you most excited about right now in your life?
My family, really, my relationship with my wife and how we continue leveling each other up. And, we have a son on the way, Chieftain Wolf Jones. July 15th is the due date. I really, really value family. I had somebody come over to my house he had sold his company for like $800 million. And all he did was see me and my wife. Yeah, and that's it. And he's like, man, thank you. I'm like, for what? He was like, I didn't know it was possible to be successful and have a powerful family. I've actually never seen that before. So thank you for showing me my future. I was like, oh, that's a valuable thing. I didn't even, we just live it.
Yeah.
But we put a lot of emphasis on family growth and Blair having her own coaches and mentors to support her in continuously evolving, and myself as well. But then also we have like relationships coach. It's like, you got all these coaches for all these business things. It's like, but you're not putting that into the family. It doesn't deserve to grow. But what I noticed was the more the family evolves, the energy of the family, there's a spirit of harmony. And the divine order in our family is God, family, everything else. The more that the relationship keeps on evolving, it actually pulls the individuals up. And then as I step into, it's like the frequency of the protector provider, Blair falls into this feminine essence.
Yes.
But in her feminine essence, there's less doing. She feels like she needs to do. And then all of a sudden she'll go, Garrain, I feel like you should go to Los Angeles next week. I'm like, and I wasn't even planning on going. And then I go, and then all of a sudden, the most magical things happen. So her work now becomes on how do I strengthen in my being? And what she does is whisper secrets in my ear, and it carries out through me because I don't get tired. I don't get tired. She'll get tired if she do. I don't get tired, but I'm also aligned with my mission in life, but also she'll whisper. So her gift and her magic is to, what do I need to do to continue being in my being? And my role is, how can I support her into being in her being and softness and things like that, because her power comes from her essence. And then she whispers those things to me. And then all of a sudden we're like 10x in revenue. Effortless. And I was like, oh, Blair's my secret weapon. Holy crap. Respect. I can do this. I can work. I can be strong all day long, but you got a different aspect of power.
Creation.
I can understand how a man who doesn't know himself and who's grounded in who he really is would be intimidated by that level of power. I'd probably try to lower her value too if I didn't know myself. And so I'm really excited for the ceremony of continuous growth in our family. And that makes everything else work 10 times effortless.
Yeah.
Because it's 10 times more difficult. Oh, it ain't easy.
Yeah.
To lean in with a powerful woman and then be a lean in father raising the next generation of women in the household. Woo, not easy.
Yeah. Give us 1 to 3 things that you focus on as the man in your household that helps you continue to cultivate that harmony.
Well, we have one every week on Sunday. On Sunday we have this love meeting, and just like how people have these business meetings to go over whatever, we like literally work on our relationship, and we don't let anything bypass. And in the love meeting, first one, We exchange each other's calendars and see what's on there. I have her calendar. She has mine, and then we talk about what we have for the week so there's no surprises. And then we ask, do you need support? Do you need support? I'll be like, man, I have my retreat in Wimberley, Texas, June 6th through the 10th. I'm like, baby, I would love for you to cheer me on this week because we're closing the last 20 spots in a 100-person retreat. And she was like, okay, I got you. And then she'll tell me what she needs support with. The next one, we'll talk about date night. Does it need to move? Does it change? And so it's like, okay, all right, we talk about date night. One week it's me coming up with it, and the next week it's her. And we just keep it fun that way. Then the next one is we talk about sex. It's like, man, what do we want more of? This week, I just want to flirt, whatever. It's like we're getting our needs met, but we got to talk about our needs so we don't miss that moment. And the fourth one is anything left unsaid. So there's never the compile thing because we literally bring all of that to the Sunday meeting.
Love that, dude.
So is there anything left unsaid? You did this, but the whole goal is to be neutral because we're actually trying to bring our relationship to the center. And that's the fourth one. And the fifth one is probably one of the biggest ones because most people walk around not feeling seen, probably because you don't take the opportunity to see the micro wins that you've had throughout the week. So what we do is acknowledgement for self and acknowledgement for other. So I'll acknowledge 3 things that I'm proud of within myself and how I showed up. And then I'll acknowledge 3 things that I noticed that she probably didn't think I noticed. And I want to acknowledge her for that and the way that she showed up. This meeting is adjourned. That love meeting right there, by far, is night and day difference than when we're just trying to win the Super Bowl while in the Super Bowl. No, this is the practice. This is everything leading up. And because we work on it, now the efficiency of our marriage doesn't have many energy leaks.
Yes.
That's number one. And then also making sure, number 2, that whatever level of anger, rage, madness, sadness she has, that I work on myself, double the capacity. Because there's Blair, there's baby, and then there's everybody's emotions. Before, when there was no baby, it was just me working on me and then Blair working on her. But then when Blair had the baby, that energy had to go somewhere, so there was less coming to me. So the formula for success that I learned is I work on myself double. I expand my capacity so big so that there's enough for Blair. There's enough for any level of anger, rage, emotions, because that's the woman in full feeling and a space, safe space to hold it, will then retrain her nervous system into the frequency of love. So I can hold for anywhere. And I choose to hold anywhere where she wants to go, but I got to make sure that I'm filled up to my cup's overflow and almost double that. Then when she gives to the baby, all of a sudden, because I could hold all of that, now she has so much to give to me. So that level of ninja strength, it's on a whole nother level, but I'm willing to put in that work. Those are the 2 things that if a man does that and then creates time for your partner to feel safe because there's no gray inside of the partnership, you are going to have a very rich relationship. And the way in which she's going to acknowledge you as the protector and provider, it's a whole different wavelength.
So good, man. So good. I love that. Brother, this has been spectacular.
Right?
Yeah, dude. I can't thank you enough. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too. We made it happen.
Yeah, dude. And we got to do another one because
for sure.
This wasn't enough.
No.
We got to get, there's so much deeper we could go on all this.
For sure.
Before we go though, will you just let everybody know what you got going on and where they can find you and all of that good stuff?
Well, yeah, my website is GarrainJones.com, Instagram, Garrain.Jones. And, everything that I do, my role in this life is there's two parts, is to do everything that I can so that the little kid inside of the adult is actually happy. That's number one. And then number two is to whisper great secrets in the most powerful leaders' ears. I don't need to be the most polarizing person, but I know I've been gifted with some special codes that I love to share with people that are already doing great things so that they can do that 10 times more efficient and more effortless. And so that's why I create my masterminds and my leadership containers. And I have a retreat coming up called Artist Power Awaken. The artist is the little kid who remembers. Once we can get inside of the frequency of that little kid, it gives you gateway to so many other things. And the safest and the purest way I know how to do that is through the eyes, mind, and heart of the little kid. So I'm doing a retreat June 6th through the 10th in Wimberley. And it's a very, very, very magical space. And it attracts very awesome people. So,
I believe it, dude.
Yeah. So that's the next thing that I have coming up. And I'm just really excited, man. I'm really excited about life and the work that I'm doing and who I get to be for humanity and who I get to be for myself.
We're excited to have you, brother.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Truly, we're excited to have you, man. Thank you. Thank you, dude. Well, everybody, I hope you got as much out of that as I did. Lots of love to you guys. Yeah. Garrain, thank you. You're the man. Thank you so
much, brother.
We'll see you next time.
Of course.
Lots of love to you and your family.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Keep doing it.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all next time.